And allow yourself to fully arrive here. Your body is here, but take a moment and really allow the fullness of your presence the fullness of your consciousness to arrive. Allow yourself to draw that awareness inward. Into the depths of your very being. And as you inhale, allow yourself to absorb this sacred environment. As you breathe in, allow yourself to breathe in that sacred prana, that life force. Breathe in the energies of the sages and the saints. That energy of awakening. Just allow yourself to breathe it in. And feel it flowing through your very being. Touching, awakening, illumining all of the cells of your being. Breathe in that divine energy. Feel it fill you. Flowing through you. And as you exhale, allow yourself to let go of that which is old, that which is holding you back and keeping you stuck. Exhale and let go. of the false roles that you play, of the masks that you wear, of the stories that you tell yourself about who you are. Of all of that illusion, just exhale and let it go. And inhale that sacred and powerful prana of transformation. Slowly and gently, bring the palms of your hands together at chest level. And gently rub the palms of the hands against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. And slowly lower the hands and open your eyes. Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together. Just sound eklanabia. Starting as usual with a question that's come in advance, and then we'll open it up to any questions that anyone here has. Can you hear me in the back? Yeah. But Piche Tsunani Dede. Thanks. Is it okay now, Tusharji? Good, okay. Is free will real or just an illusion? Of course it's real. It's absolutely real. We are not puppets. We're not just going through the motions of something that's been already destined. We have free will. We have karma, we have destiny, and we have free will. And they intersect together in a very subtle and very beautiful way. A lot of times people think, well, I don't really have free will because we've got this karma, we've got this destiny, so where's my free will if everything's been written? what's the point? What's the point of doing anything if everything's already been written? But it isn't like that at all. That which you've done in the past is what brings you to where you are now. So all of that from the past, what you would call the fruits of your past karma, that brings you to here. But what you do here is what brings you into next week, next month, next year. So what you've got right now, you could say was predestined. Predestined where? Predestined when? By that which you've done in your past. But that which is predestined for tomorrow, for next week, for next month, for next year, is being predestined right here, right now. I always say this moment is the pre of that which has been predestined for you in the future, right? It's not that it was predestined at some other time, thousands and thousands of years ago, sitting somewhere in outer space, somebody, said, okay, on this date, here's what's going to happen to her. What we do, our actions, our karma, is that which is creating our own destiny. So there's absolutely free will. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about our human life as a field. And it's a beautiful, beautiful analogy that, if you had a field, you could do a lot of things with that field. You could either plant fruits and vegetables in it, plant grain, and feed people who are hungry. They would flower, they would blossom. You could enjoy, you could share with all. Or you could take that field and you could play soccer, football on it. And in, one game, in a few hours, your field would be over. All the grass would be uprooted. It would just be, dirt. Clumps of grass thrown here and there. Nothing but dirt. Some people may have had some fun for a couple of hours. And then the field is over. And that's the decision that we make about our lives, is we've been given this opportunity. This life, you can think of it like a field in that way. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to plant seeds of joy? Seeds of peace, seeds of love. Seeds that end up feeding the hearts and the bellies and the lives of others. Seeds that nourish you and nurture you. Or are you just going to play a game on it? Have some fun for a few hours and then have it be over? So that's what our free will gives us, is the full freedom to work under the confines of that which has already been decided by karma. And where a lot of people end up really miserable and frustrated is on both ends of this spectrum. So you have people who say and who believe everything is predestined. I'm miserable because it's my destiny to be miserable. I must have done something awful in a past life. Therefore, I'm being punished. Therefore, there is no way out because this is the result of my karma. I'm just resigned to a miserable life. Nothing will ever work for me. Maybe next life will be better. And that's one end of the spectrum of misery. The other end of the spectrum, interestingly, is the exact opposite, but it's also misery. It's this idea of I've got full and total and complete freedom to create, to be, to manifest absolutely anything. Now, that's a beautiful way of thinking. It's very empowering to think like that. The problem is it isn't exactly true. And the moment that we realize it isn't true, then we become even more frustrated. For example, let's say I decided that my dharma, my purpose in life, is to be a professional basketball player. Okay? Say I wake up in the morning and I've just decided I had this vision. It came to me, I'm gonna be a professional basketball player. Now, I've never played a day of basketball in my life. I'll be 52 in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I'm about 5'2.5" if I'm standing up really straight. Now, I could hire the best basketball coaches in the world. I could drink protein shakes up the kazoo, right? I could do anything and everything that anyone could possibly suggest. And there still is no way that I ever would actually get a place on any kind of a professional basketball team. And I'm not being self-deprecating here, right? This is not about you all should say, oh, yeah, sure, of course you can, it's okay, you know. This is just what we would call the fact of the matter. It's not written into my destiny in this life. Certainly not starting at this age. Similarly, I could decide that I wanted to be an opera singer, a ballerina, an Olympic ice skater, all of which are beautiful things. And if I had started at 4, I might possibly, if I had dedicated every minute of my life since I was 4, you never know, maybe I had it in me. But not at this moment, which is where we are. And as much as I'm all in favor of empowerment and knowing our alignment with the divine and knowing the possibility of everything, we have to look also at the reality of this intersection of time and space. It's not simply a matter of if you can visualize it, you can create it. I can certainly see myself if I get really creative in my visualization. I could get myself in, a basketball jersey and a pair of shorts and some high tops. I mean, I could work with the visualization. But that's not going to change my short in stature, 52-year-old female body. And that's okay. That's okay. That is not something that I should feel miserable about. And that's the dilemma with this end of the spectrum, is if I really deeply believed that I had so much free will and so much power of manifestation that I could make that happen, then I would be literally putting myself on a course of misery because it's not going to happen. And so the power of free will is not power in a vacuum. It's not free will minus all of the laws of the universe, right? I could stand on a rooftop and visualize that I have wings. But if I jump off it, I'm going to come crashing to the ground. Because my free will does not trump the law of gravity. The power of my visualization, of my manifestation, of my empowerment, of my alignment with the divine is not there to undo laws that that very same divine put into play when the world was created. And so, yes, we have free will. Yes, we have full power of creating our lives. Yes, almost anything is possible. Assuming it is in alignment with all of the other karmic threads in the universe. For example, you think about a child in school struggling to do well on an exam, and that child's mother or father, being very well-intentioned, says, you can be number one in your class. Study hard, you will be number one. And that's beautiful. And when that child takes that idea, it's beautiful. Number one, number one. The problem with something like that is it assumes that no other child in the class also wants to be number one. And that no other mother or father of any other child in the class is also telling their child, you can be number one. And so it's assuming that what my child wants and works for is of more importance than any of the other karmic threads that are woven together into this moment. And so that's why we talk about co-creation instead of just creation. Free will is that which enables us to co-create our lives, our best, most uplifted, aware, vibrant, love-filled lives. Intertwining with all of these other karmic threads, whether it's the thread of the law of gravity, the thread of the law of how I have chosen to spend the last 52 years of my life, the thread of the genetics that I happen to have, which have me at, 5'2", the thread of all of those other youngsters who are working to become basketball players also, the thread of everybody else's karma. So free will gives us the freedom to co-create our thread in this sacred tapestry. It doesn't give us the power to annihilate the tapestry entirely that everybody else has already created, as though somehow we were existing in a vacuum. So use that full power to create your destiny, realizing how beautifully it's actually interwoven with that of you in the form of everybody else. Because, of course, we're not actually separate threads. We're actually different waves in the same ocean, made of the same molecules of ocean. And in this moment, my waveform is here, yours is there, and in the next moment, We rise together as one waveform, and then a moment later we're one. We're not actually separate. So we're co-creating this sacred experience right here, right now. Other questions? Any that anyone here might have? Yes.
Pranam Sadhviji. My question is, why do we still seek or crave the physical touch with our spiritual masters? We literally want to be at their feet all the time, even if we know when we remember, when we chant their name, they are inside of us. Why do we still have that craving inside that physically we want to be close to them?
Beautiful. Why do we crave being in the presence of spiritual masters, even when we know that they're in us and we can access them from wherever we are? There's an energy. We are energetic beings. And on the one hand, yes, there is that power of the presence of truth. The word guru literally means the one who removes darkness and brings light. Light of wisdom, light of truth. Right? It's not, the guru isn't the one who shines the light on himself or herself. It's not a hey, look at me show. The light that the real guru shines is on you, showing you the truth of who you are, connecting you with that divine truth of you. Now that is there wherever you are. If you close your eyes or open your eyes and you connect with that power of truth, it's with you wherever you are. And we are energetic beings. And what that means is that we are constantly interacting with energy around us. If I go, right? So everybody, and the closer you were, the more people, those in the back, not so much. There was a literal energy here. If you've ever been at a rock concert, right? We obviously don't go to rock concerts, but in International Yoga Festival every year, we have this amazing, amazing drummer who comes named Shivamani. He plays the world. An incredible percussionist. Those of you who are going to be with us at Yoga Festival, you'll experience him. And when we go to his concert, sitting in the front, usually near the speakers, and you can feel your whole body tingle. Now, I'm probably, maybe a good 20 feet at least from the actual stage, maybe 25, maybe 30, however far it is from, first row in the audience to actually up on the stage. So it's not like I'm actually touching the drum that he's hitting. And yet, the wave of that sound is such, as any of you who's been to a rock concert knows, that you feel it in your body. And I always love it on those nights because I'll lie down in bed at night afterwards. Concert's over. And I still feel it in my body. There's a reverberation actually happening in the body Because literally, the wave of sound, an energy, has impacted the energy of my physical and energetic being. It's like, if you fling a chord, a string, a musical string, and it, does this for a while. Well, our bodies are like that. And you feel it in your body, even after he stopped playing. So that's sound. Same thing with heat and light, right? Why does being in the sun feel so nice? It's not just light, oh yeah, now I can read because the sun has come out. There's actually an energy of warmth on the body that you go, right? And you want to just be like a cat and kind of curl up in it. Because as those rays, energetic waves, intersect with the waves of your physical and energetic body, the body gets warm, and the energy of the body goes, So whether it's sound, whether it's light, whether it's temperature, whatever it may be, these are all actually just waves. They're all just waves. Right? All of these electromagnetic frequencies that everybody's talking about, right? With cell phones and towers and whatnot, what are they? They're just waves. They're just waves in the universe, waves in the energetic field that interact with the waves of our physical and energetic being. Now, in the same way, we come back to the question. The energy that the spiritual masters exude is an energy that when it intersects with the energy of our physical energetic being, we feel, but not just in the body, we feel it in the heart, in the soul. It's like our whole soul just goes, So, yes, you carry that truth with you wherever you are. You carry the blessings with you wherever you are, the teachings, the grace. But the energy, the actual physical, vibrational energy that is exuded happens only when you're physically there. It's an energy. And so that's the energy that keeps drawing us back to the presence, the physical presence of the masters, the physical presence to Mother Ganga, the physical presence to holy places. Because it interacts with the physical frequency of our bodies. I mean, we are just energy. Look at yourself under an electron microscope, and you'll realize this whole illusion of thinking that you were just this solid thing with these borders right here. That's just an illusion. It's because our eyes don't work very well. Right? We were talking the other night about the eyes of the bees and the eyes of the mosquitoes. So our eyes just don't work so well. We're energy. So in the presence of powerful spiritual energy, we feel it. And we start to vibrate at the same level, because energy intersects and impacts other energy. So when you're in the presence of that spiritual mastery, your energy starts to vibrate differently. And it feels really good. And it feels really right. And so we want to keep coming back to it. So that's very beautiful. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. Yes.
Hi, Sadhviji.
Welcome back.
Thank you. So I have a question related to what she said, and in 1998 I read Autobiography of Yogi, and I'm like, yay, I want to do that. But I never met a living guru and I started meditating, but then I'm so curious, and I've been studying and I've been exposed to so many different spiritual teachings, and I wonder, is there any danger in, and I was just at Oroville, and I'm like, oh, the Mother Sri Aurobindo, and I want to know more about that, and I want to know about this and that. Is there any danger in being so curious and wanting too much? Or what do you think about that? Thank you.
No, I don't think there's any danger whatsoever in taking as much spiritual inspiration and wisdom as you possibly can. There's actually a beautiful story in the scriptures of a sage saying, I have 24 gurus. And he goes through them. And they're aspects of nature. Here's what I learned from the bird. Here's what I learned from the tree. Here's what I learned from the worm. Here's what I learned from the flower. Here's what I learned from this. And this ability to take wisdom, not just from living human embodied gurus or previously embodied, no longer in the body, human gurus, but even from different animals, even from different species of nature. I mean, for me, nature is one of the greatest teachers. You know, when I'm looking for the right way to do something, I frequently look to nature. Well, how does a tree live? How does a flower live? I mean, you just watch what happens in nature. So no, there isn't any danger. Take as much wisdom, as much nectar as you possibly can. The only thing to be aware of is when you embark on a very deep and very focused spiritual path, it can help to use one path. For example, in the Arti, I was speaking about paths of yoga, and I was giving the example of how it doesn't matter how you get in. And the analogy I gave, which I use a lot, is here we are on the banks of Ganga. It doesn't matter how you get in, just get in. You want to walk down the marble steps here at Parmarth, great. You want to walk in off a sandy beach, you want to jump in off a rock, you want to go in down a concrete slope, it doesn't matter. What matters is you get in her waters and you get the blessings. But if you walked down one step of Parmarth Niketan's marble steps, and then you ran up to Ramjula and you walked a few steps on the sand, and then you ran up a little bit farther and you kind of saw the rock and you were about to go up, and then you came back here and you walked down another step, and then you'd actually end up not just never actually getting in, but tiring yourself out and kind of creating a frenetic energy rather than an energy of divine union, which is actually what it's all about. So I'd say if what you're looking for is wisdom and inspiration, take it everywhere, as much as you can. Absorb it all. But if what you're looking for is a specific path of sadhana to walk, a path to a destination, choose one and walk on it. And the two things can happen simultaneously. I mean, for example, I have been incredibly blessed in the 26 years I've been here to be, because of who my guru Pujya Sadhviji is and his incredibly revered position in the world of religion and spirituality across the world, I've had the great blessing to be in the presence of so many spiritual masters of the Hindu tradition, of other traditions, to hear so much wisdom from so many of them. And that's beautiful. And I love it. And as far as the path I'm walking of my life, my sadhana, my practice, my dharma, I have one guru who's the one I'm going to go to, who's the one whose instructions I'm going to follow. Because otherwise you end up frenetically running around. This one says try this one says this. Now, and again, it doesn't mean that I've never also sought wisdom from the others. I certainly have. It's been a great blessing. I'm very curious about a lot of things, have been always, but especially you come and everything is brand new. I've asked so many questions to so many of the masters and gotten so much wisdom. And it's a great blessing. But on a deeply personal, like this is my path of sadhana, you've got to just choose one path to walk. Because otherwise you do 10 minutes of this meditation and then 10 minutes of that one and then 10 minutes of this, and this one says chant this mantra, this one says chant this mantra, this one says, so you're doing like one beat of one mantra, then another beat of another mantra. It's hard enough to still the mind. The last thing you need is 4 mantras going on simultaneously. Right? One says work with the breath in this way, another says work in the breath, and and the next thing you know, you're going, because somebody's telling you to do this, and so it's not that it's wrong, it's just that for the sake of creating your life, choose one path. But gather wisdom and inspiration wherever you can. I love the teachings of the Mother. As Pujya Swamiji mentioned yesterday in Arti, the very first major project I was given here was to edit the encyclopedia of her teachings. And it was extraordinary. So, just absorb, be like a sponge. But when it comes time to figuring out, okay, I've got 24 hours in a day. Here's how much of that time I'm going to spend, or I can spend, on my seated spiritual practice. Obviously, every minute of our day is part of our spiritual practice. But here's how much time I actually have for the on the cushion, on the mat aspect of it. Follow the guidance of one. And it doesn't necessarily mean that one has to be, better than the others. They're all beautiful and divine in their own way. But I would say find the one who it feels like they see you. Because then only are they going to be able to really give you that path. What the guru gives is it's not a generic sort of, here's what you should do. The benefit of a living guru in their bodies is actually to have the benefit of someone who sees you. And therefore is giving answers and wisdom not just about the universe for the universe, but actually very specifically for you. And that's a really great gift and a great blessing. Yeah. Yes.
If I have, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. If I have a dream, a goal, I work for it, but it's the divine who will fulfill it. But then it comes the ego. Okay? It comes to make it difficult.
I don't think they can hear you in the back. Karuna, maybe you can help her? Karuna,
Hello.
sweetie? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sorry.
That's
sorry.
okay.
So then comes the ego
Mm.
and start making it difficult, saying yes, no, this way, the other way. But how can I surrender to the divine and give my goals or my dreams?
Without the ego getting involved.
Yes. How do I deal with my ego?
When we work toward the goal, achieve the goal or don't achieve the goal, either way the ego gets involved. The only way around that is to realize you're not the doer. See, if it's about you, then I achieved it, I'm achieving it, I'm so great. I'm not achieving it, I'm useless, I'm worthless. I am achieving it, I'm perfect and wonderful and smart and powerful, and see, I've manifested it. I'm not achieving it. I'll never achieve anything. I'm not good. Not good enough. Not something else enough. Not smart enough. Not spiritual enough. Not deserving enough. See, it's all about me. So of course the ego is going to be involved. The key is, realize that you are just an instrument. In the same way that I use this microphone as an instrument, and as absolutely absurd as it would be after a lecture, or if I could sing a song, for the microphone to stand up and take a bow, right? You're just the instrument. Like, she was the singer. She gave the talk. Well, it's just as ridiculous for me to feel like, what a song I sang, what a lecture I gave. Because I'm also just an instrument. There's a beautiful story, true story. I wasn't there, but Pujya Sadhviji was there. He shares it, of a beautiful spiritual master who's no longer in his body anymore, but who passed away at just almost 100 a few years ago. And he and Pujya Sadhviji were in the United Nations together maybe 30, 35 years ago. And it was a large event at the UN. And all of the speakers were allowed 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and at a place like the UN, they're really particular. And so there's somebody sitting right in the front with a card that says 1 minute left, 30 seconds left, time over, stop now, And this other master was speaking, and his 1 minute left, 30 seconds left, time over, stop now. And the person holding the cards is getting really restless because he's talking and talking, and they're holding like, stop now, stop now. He's in ecstasy, giving this beautiful talk. And he goes on for 20-something minutes. And at the end, he gets a standing ovation. His name was Dada Vaswani. And he gets a standing ovation. He and Pujya Swamiji were very, very, very close. Like brothers of the heart. And when he walks off the stage, everybody's telling him, oh, what a speech, that was so beautiful. And he says, yes, wasn't it? I was also listening. Right? So, no ego. Standing ovation at the UN. No ego. Yeah, I was also listening. Wasn't it great? He's an instrument. Something was being spoken through him. In the same way that the microphone wouldn't automatically shut off just because the person held up a sign that said stop. Well, he was just the microphone for God. Why would he pay any attention to a woman with a sign? He's God's microphone. Just an instrument. And this is the only way to be free of ego, is to just realize I'm an instrument. And that which is happening through me is happening because of God's grace. It's beautiful, it's success, wonderful. Didn't work so well? Okay. Something with the instrument, or something with the situation, or something with the electricity, or whatever it is. Right? So you realize I'm just an instrument. And then the ego doesn't get involved. It's happening through you. The key and the challenge is doing it in both times of success and also times of failure. Tends to be easier in times of failure. I guess the universe didn't want it to happen. But success, look at me, I did it. But it only works when you can actually do it in both. And so you find yourself full of gratitude to the divine for all of that. There's a beautiful mantra in the Bhagavad Gita that says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjahoshi dadasi yad. Yat tapasyasi konteya tat kurushva madarpanam. And it means offer everything to God. Who you are, what you do, what you eat, what you mean, even all of the sadhana you do, all your meditation, all your yagnas, every way that you help other beings, everything you do, offer it to God. Just let your life be an offering. That's the goal. Beautiful. Have a wonderful rest of your evenings. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. And I look so forward to being together with you all tomorrow. So much love to you all.